guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I wanted to go through some of the Hoyas that I find are growing really well without a greenhouse. So these are plants that don't need high humidity, don't need very specific growing conditions, and just do well perfectly fine if you literally ignore them and just leave them in your home. You don't over care for them and just let them be. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And yeah, let's just jump right into today's video. Do I have a piece of hair sticking up? I most definitely do, and it's just how it's gonna be. Let's start off with one of my favorite Hoyas of all time, and it is the Hoya VITELLINOIDES. So this little baby is the veiny queen herself. She is the biggest leaf Hoya I've ever owned in my collection, and with very striking veining, super easy, and just thrives at room humidity. So this one is actually pretty far from my humidifier, which I would say in the winter maybe gets about like 30-40% humidity, and that's just insane that something this beautiful and stunning doesn't need any special treatment. It doesn't need to be consistently in high humidity or even like bright light. I mean, obviously it's under my grow lights because it's currently sitting in my plant shelf, but otherwise, if you give it enough light, it doesn't need high humidity, and it's great. Very easy Hoya to care for, and I highly recommend it to a lot of kind of beginner plant people because yeah, like who doesn't want an easy Hoya with great foliage? Definitely me. I definitely want that. Moving on, I want to talk about another Hoya that's grown significantly in my care and also does not live in a greenhouse and just sits at the top of my shelf. Doesn't even get bright light, honestly, and it's doing great. So this one is my Hoya MATHILDE. It is a humongous plant, currently in a 5-inch planter and just growing all over the places. And I've chopped it at least 20 times, like not even joking. I've propagated it so many times. Probably hates me for chopping it so often, and that's why it's not blooming for me. But to be fair, I had to really control the madness of growth, and that is what I did. So I don't regret cutting it, although I'm probably not going to cut it anytime soon because I see so many peduncles and hopefully it will bloom for me. But in the meantime, I will just admire the wonderful foliage and just how amazing it looks and big and lush. This one thrives in just regular humidity. It doesn't need any special treatment, no greenhouse necessary. You could just have this sitting on your shelf like I do, and it doesn't even have to be close to a window. Like, it's a pretty low light tolerant plant, which is amazing, and that is why it made the list for the top plants that don't need any greenhouse. Moving on to plant number 3, I do want to talk about this plant because this is one of the OGs as well. I would say it's probably within the first 4 Hoyas that I've purchased in my plant career, not plant career, in my plant mom life. So this is the Hoya Rotundiflora. It is kind of the Hoya with rectangular leaves. Very cool, very unique, and not like any of the other Hoyas that are out there. This one is not like any of the other Hoyas that I ever had or owned in my collection, and I just really like it. It's currently in one of my handmade planters, which you can find on my Etsy shop at Gloria's Plants and Pots. So if you're into these beautiful planters, make sure you check it out. But back to the plants, this Hoya Rotundiflora definitely has never lived inside a greenhouse because I didn't think it needed it. It's a pretty succulent and hard, waxy leaf texture, so it tends to retain water really well and doesn't need the extra humidity that's in the air for the leaves to, like, you know, not fall off when they're first coming out, because they're really sensitive generally for Hoya leaves when they first emerge. But yeah, this one has not had any problem. No new leaves have ever fallen off, and it just grows to its mature size. That's pretty much all I have to say about this Hoya Rotundiflora. It's amazing, it's wonderful, and it does many great things. I think I even see a peduncle. I remember I saw it the other day. Can't really remember where it is. Unfortunately, the only thing that's really set this one back is the fact that it was infested with mealybugs over the fall and winter time. I mean, I have it under control for the most part, but I still see a little bit of mealybugs and definitely have to treat it again. I feel like it's a never-ending battle with stupid mealybugs. But yeah, this one is Hoya rotundiflora. Very, very good plant. I really like this one. I don't think I'd ever get rid of it, even if I got more like rare plants or more popular plants. I just really, really like the rotundiflora, and I think it's really underrated actually. So yeah, get yourself a Hoya rotundiflora. Next up, I do want to talk about this particular plant, and it is the Hoya NUMMULARIOIDES pink corona. So look at the size of this beast. It is humongous, and I can't say enough good things about this plant and how easy it's been in my care. It's currently trellised up on this like DIY trellis that I have, just wrapped in some twine, and the aerial roots have gone absolutely nuts at room humidity. Like, these are aerial roots from sitting on my shelf at 40% humidity, if not less, and it's just honestly doing great things. It has 2 or 3 peduncles that are literally scattered all throughout the different vines of this plant, and it might be the first ever Hoya bloom that I will ever have in my care. So yeah, very, very excited. If it ever does bloom, you best believe I'd be posting this on Instagram and it'll be all over my story, because I've yet to have a Hoya bloom in my care. How ridiculous is that? I have like so many Hoyas and none of them have bloomed, partially because I keep cutting them and maybe I'm not giving them ideal conditions, but this one doesn't need ideal conditions. It's doing perfectly fine, and if not thriving already in room humidity and just doing great things. Moving on to the last plant category, I do want to kind of show you guys both of them because I think both of them are doing great at room humidity, and it is the 2 OBOVATAs that I have. So these are the regular form and the variegated form. So I'll start off with the regular one. So that is the regular OBOVATA, and next beside it is the variegated OBOVATA. So both these OBOVATAs sit literally side by side on my plant shelf, although one is a little bit kind of put off towards the side so it doesn't get as much light, which is the regular form. The variegated one can handle more light, and that is why it's kind of more directly under the grow lights. But both of these do not care at all if it has high humidity or low humidity, which is really amazing. I find that the more succulent and hard and waxy the leaves are on Hoya, the less likely they need higher humidity, which is really interesting actually. The firmer the leaf is, the less water it needs, the less humidity it needs, and the more light it can handle. So a lot of kind of easy care tips to kind of remember for these types of Hoyas. So yeah, that pretty much concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it somewhat helpful. Probably I would recommend going out there and finding these plants yourself and getting them for your own collection, because they're just so easy, so great, so beginner friendly, and I honestly would put my Gloria stamp of approval on these plants, and that means something because I don't like a whole lot of plants. I find I'm very particular and picky with the ones that are in my collection. The moment they no longer spark joy for me, I do get rid of them pretty quickly, and that's because I have limited space, number 1, number 2, limited time to care for them, and number 3, I just don't want like a billion plants in my house. That's just how I feel personally. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.